Hello, my dear friends. Sandram is here. This is my daily podcast. I'm gonna chat a little bit with you about what was happening last week and what I discovered, and also a couple of things about drum development and four-way coordination, and also timing and precision, and of course couple tips for life as well. Whatever I accomplished, I'll share with you too. So first thing first, why drumming is so difficult? It's obviously when you take a look at the drummer, he sounds really good, he sounds excited, or she. They can play amazing stuff, super fast, super loud, super quiet, super soft, different styles, jazz, hip hop, rock, metal, electronica, you name it. What the main thing most of drummers have in common is really passion and fun they deliver their music with. However, they don't tell much about what's happening between their performances. And I can tell you, it's not simple matter. Drumming is very physical, but also very spiritual, and also very advanced mental task. Because what it is in reality, with four limbs, two hands and 2 feet, you have to maintain even strokes and performance on at least four different sounds at a time. Kick drum, hi-hat, pedals, snare drums, cymbals, hi-hats on top, percussion, all kinds of stuff. So in essence, drums been around for many years, but only 100 years ago it really got assembled as a drum kit. So when a band was playing back then, it was at least 5 to 10 drummers playing different instruments. Like big bass drum was played with mallet, snare drum by separate person as well, and cymbals were carried by another person. And depending on the style of the band, it could be military band or dance band or swing band or actually funeral band. Number of drummers varies. And one beautiful moment, somebody, I believe it was in Louisiana, New Orleans, one drummer, smart drummer, invented bass drum pedal. And it revolutionized music and the way people play drums. First pedal was, of course, very bulky and not very efficient, but it did the job. What pedal is actually it's a beater attached to certain mechanism, so you can set up big bass drum and play it with foot. Then it was low boy for the left side. Usually bass drum was played by right foot, and left foot was playing lowboy. What it is lowboy? It's actually springs adjusted to cymbals, so you can step on the pedal and make click click clunky noise. So boom chick, boom, you get two sounds and you get rhythm. Boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom. That was dance rhythm. Boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom chick, boom. Or boom ch ch, boom ch ch. So that was function of the feet. And most of the drummers played just with top of the foot, you know, without bringing all legs up. And snare drum was placed between legs, and sticks were used to play snare drum, and hi-hat was actually non-existent yet in first drum set because it was low boy. But drummers would play with cymbals, snare drum and cymbal. Cymbal was actually on the right. So it was actually open-handed system of drums, and additional tom-toms, bells, whistles were added to kit, and new instrument drum set was born. During 100 years of development of drum set and music in general, it went through phases. But one thing never changed. Drummers start playing, it's just one of them needed for the band, sometime two. And drummer would play the tune all the time. He would start the rhythm, playing on the cymbal with breaks on kick drum or tom-toms, but it was very musical, going along with bass lines of oboe players as well, and all kinds of tuba players, or then upright bass. So jazz was evolving from funeral bands actually in New Orleans. And it became a huge deal. In 30s, it was dance halls filled with people, nicely dressed men and women dancing to the sounds of big band and singers and solo players. Duke Ellington, Count Basie, then many great orchestras, Buddy Rich Orchestra. Last century jazz was actually a dance music orchestra in general. And after Second World War, because certain economy problems and changes, it was hard to keep big band, and people start downsizing and bands became smaller. And what happened, since band getting smaller, I believe people had to impress more their listeners and start to play faster. So bebop was born in 1950s. And that actually start closing down era of danceable jazz. Because one thing is very important, that danceability is consistent tempo. And this element very important for particular other side of our beautiful population, women, because they like to dance and they like to know where the next step gonna be. This way they would mate through the dance and choose a partner, and that would be really helpful to spend some time together and to get to know each other, if they will actually feel right together. And dancing was perfect thing for that. Actually, people were hugging each other in full contact when they were dancing. So, after bebop started, women stopped going to jazz clubs because they couldn't dance to it. And right here, boom, rock and roll, Chuck Berry, ta ta ti ta 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 ti ta 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 ta, start playing very simple rhythm and roll over Beethoven. A new dance music was born, rock and roll. So we have Elvis, we have Beatles, we still have Rolling Stones. They move, they still playing amazing band. So it brought back two sexes together. So people start going concerts and dance to the rhythmical sound of rock and roll. Until rock music became heavier with bands like Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin, louder and less danceable. What happened after all these permutations in 70s and 80s and 90s with grunge rock, finally DJs showed up and they solved the problem. Now 90% of music is played by DJs on huge live performances where men and women come together and dance. So that little bit history of development and what I'm doing in this sound laboratory, I call it, in my studio. I'm designing new tools and new systems how people can play drums and have danceable music matched together, which is very difficult to do. However, it is possible. It was done for many years in England very successfully. So it can be done here. So I believe that's going to be the next step, implementation of dance music and live musicians together. And that is why I designed different drum set and also came up with different kind of sticks like this. They have huge handle. It allows me to play for a long time, precisely, to their rhythm of kick drum and create new drum parts. And I call it sometimes electronic jazz. So I like to improvise, however, I'd like to improvise within dance beat. So that's what you see on my videos right now. However, I'm also developing a live show and putting together a band of musicians who will do amazing things live as well, but on much higher level of performance and of course sound. So I believe 21st century deserve people listening, live musicians as well as DJs. I have nothing against DJs, they save the planet. However, it just gets boring to see a guy who is doing something behind the decks for 4 hours. And, you know, we want to see some live people playing great music for enjoyment, fun, and development of human beings. And peace in the world, too. So, to close this daily podcast, I would highly recommend everybody who is trying to quit smoking, go ahead and quit smoking. It's a strange thing, it's a tougher thing, to actually to do, because I had to do it many times in my life. Finally, I quit smoking a year ago for good. I don't feel like I want to go back. Sometimes I'm tempted to, maybe I should smoke a cigarette. No. The reason it is, there is so many chemicals goes inside of cigarettes. It's not even tobacco matters, but these chemicals, they can alter our way to think and freshness of our ideas and development. And of course, lung problems, cancer, you name it. Plus, in Los Angeles, they ton, I believe, pack of cigarettes right now, $10 a pack, which is, $300 to pay per month at least to kill own body. I don't think so. So on that note, if you have any questions how I did quit smoking, there's a specific way I did it this time. Feel free to message me or comment. And also, if you have any questions about danceability and also wellness and health issues for drummers, also feel free to contact with me. All information going to be free. I just trying to help as much as I can to my listeners and my friends. So, on that note, peace and take care. Please push this button, subscribe for new updates. Sundrum for you and me. Bye-bye.